My heart condition started when I was only 32 years old. I was a remodeling contractor and was on the job site when I began experiencing massive chest pains. I couldn't breathe and must have looked like pure crap because one of my workers ran to my side, helped me sit down and called an ambulance. This was scary as hell, and I just knew that I was dying. At the hospital, I was taken straight into emergency surgery based on the results of the EKG given to me in the ambulance. An hour later, I emerged to be told that the cardiologist had unclogged 2 blocked arteries and inserted stents. I thanked him for saving my life and effectively boarded a roller coaster of heart issues. I need to say that none of my heart issues are due to a lack of proper medical attention. Mine is hereditary. 2 years and 3 stents later, I was becoming a pro at recognizing when I needed another operation. I learned all the signs of an oncoming heart attack as I had experienced many of them. You would be surprised at how many people can tell you numbness in the left arm is a symptom of a heart attack, yet can't tell you it can also be the right arm, or either leg, or pain in your jaw, or even pain between your shoulder blades. The day I had my near-death experience and met Jesus started as a good day. I had just gotten home from work and was washing up for dinner when instantaneously I could not breathe. I was alone in my home, and this heart attack was hitting me like all the rest had only been playing with me. I quickly dialed 911 right as I collapsed. I could hear the dispatcher asking me the nature of my emergency, but I could not speak to answer her. I was dying and I knew it. My final thought was, God, if I have to die, please just take the pain away. And poof, I was suddenly pain-free. Then I realized why. I was now outside my body, staring at myself laying in the floor. Then there was a man standing next to me that I immediately knew was Jesus. At this time, he had not said a word, yet I knew. He had an aura about him that just emitted an overwhelming feeling of love. Jesus reached out and placed his hand on my shoulder, and a tunnel appeared in front of me, but also elevated about 3 feet above the floor. Jesus guided me into the tunnel, and we began to move at a very fast pace that just got faster and faster until I began to get scared, at which time the speed reduced to what I was comfortable with. As we exited the tunnel, there was a bright light. I cannot even begin to describe how bright this light was, yet it did not hurt my eyes to stare directly into it. I could sense other spiritual beings around me, but I could not see anyone other than Jesus. I was then given my life review. I think this is what they mean when people say their life flashed before their eyes, because mine did. Every second of my life was shown and accounted for, with random pauses in which Jesus would telepathically ask me about the scene. In one scene, I was maybe 15 years old and had lied to my parents, saying I was going to be spending the night with a friend, only to sneak off to a party. As I watched, it became known to me that not only had I lied to them, they had known the entire time and chose to let me make my own mistakes, but I could also feel the hurt my mother experienced from her son lying to her. I felt ashamed, yet Jesus offered no judgment of my actions. I wish I could say it was only the one indiscretion on my part, but there were several, more than I care to remember. It was not completely bad, however. I was also shown a scene in which I had ran outside in a storm to bring a stray cat into my home. I'm not even a cat person, but I wasn't going to let it drown in a torrential downpour. Funny thing is, I still have that cat. When my life review ended, Jesus told me that I had to return to Earth. I, like many others, did not want to hear that I had to go back, and told Jesus as much. I practically begged to stay in the light with him, as I really had nobody to return to Earth for. My parents were deceased, and I had never married. Jesus then explained to me that my soul wasn't finished learning what it was supposed to learn on Earth. He then showed me a brief look at what the future on Earth held for me. I saw myself much older and retired with children and grandchildren. Jesus then told me that he had brought me out of my body and to the light as a gift. One not every person gets, just as every person does not get to return. Jesus told me that time did not exist within the light, and that while my time on Earth may seem long, I would be back before I knew it. With those words, Jesus led me back to my body and I awakened able to breathe. The doctor soon came into my room and explained to me how lucky I was. Police had been less than a block from me and responded fast. I was brought back in the ambulance, although I do not remember any of that. My luck continued at the hospital as a patient that was scheduled for a cardiac cath had canceled at the last minute, and the OR was available, and the surgeon was already there. 2 of my stents had completely collapsed, sending me into what he called a widow-maker heart attack. I now have a wife and a daughter, and hopefully someday I'll get those grandchildren. People always tell me how lucky I was that day. I just tell them it wasn't luck. It was Jesus.